the moment, it is 5 o'clock in the morning here in Australia. It is 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time. Janet, where are you? Where are you?
I'm on the West Coast, Pacific time.
So it's early, it's morning for you on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. It is a
Happy
treat.
Valentine's Day.
It is a treat to have you with you and to have you with you. That's it. That's what happens when you're delirious at 5 o'clock in the morning. But I want to get the show on the road because she's got some amazing things to share with you. This is the incredible Janet Grace, who is a Love Your Life coach, speaker, teacher, and author, and she ignites amazing conscious people worldwide, that's you, by the way, to live your life from above and from love and above, which is what we're all about today and this week, in every area of your life. Janet Grace's powerful presentations are based upon the spiritual laws of love to inspire passion and empower change as we come up to meet our highest self to make a difference for good in the world. So relax, but actively listen, because I want you to receive her message of love as you remember that you are love. Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible Janet Grace Nelson.
Thank you so much. It is an honor and a pleasure to be with you here on Love Day, and you choose it's just, love just is the spark that ignites every single one of us to live just more anonymously and give from that place of love and above. I know Ken's searching for some other things.
No, I didn't know that we were bantering for a second, so I muted myself, and I was just checking on something from the tech side. So I got to tell you, Jan, that one thing is really interesting is that sometimes people will talk about love and it's just lip service, but you're experiencing that with this amazing woman, because just going through our process today, and as we've sprinted to put this event on, there've been a few things that broke, some technology breakages that have been very frustrating. And some people, while they will not handle it with finesse and with patience and with love, Janet's been just like, there's a couple things that didn't work real well. I'm like, I was like, yeah, I know. So it's been really wonderful. So let's just, as Janet says, relax and love into what's coming next. I'm really excited to hear what you got. I'm very excited to hear what we're for, especially when we get up at this time of the morning. This to me is the perfect time to be able to get into self. And these early morning hours to me are precious. So to begin or to have woken up to host is a treat. So yay.
Yeah. Yay. Thank you, Ken. And, when you sent out the invitation to share a message of love on World Love Week, my heart just, said yes. And the more that each one of us listens to the wisdom of our heart, that is the vibrational, frequency of our yes in the world, and follow that yes, and not let the logic reasoning mind get in the way of us doing and being our true nature and doing the things that resonate for us to be our highest self, to be our greatest self, our giving, generous, loving, creative, powerful self. And the world really needs that right now more than ever. So I want to really talk about 3 dynamic ways that we can really use the power of love to create a world that really does work for everyone and create, it starts with our heart. It starts with us each individually. And then as we're in this collective community right now, it's vibrating out. So Ken, you're in Australia and yours in Africa, and I'm on the West Coast. I don't know where Rochelle is, and I don't know where all the audience is, but because we're speaking about love and the frequency of love, it's vibrating positive energy wherever we are, and it's coming out from us. So it's a beautiful way to start the day. It's a beautiful way for us to give of our unending of good and joy and creativity and solutions for this world.
It's true. It's totally true. And by the way, Zora is actually not in Africa. Zora is in Hobart, Australia. So he's just down the road a little bit by very far.
Oh.
Actually. So
yeah, I'm down in Tasmania, and it's a little island at the bottom of Australia. But yeah,
how wonderful.
Yeah, but I was born in South Sudan, of course.
So we bring love everywhere. Anyway, I'll mute myself and back to you. You pause. I wasn't sure if you wanted me to puff in or not.
I didn't know if we wanted it to be sensational or if you want to keep sharing. So, this is your stage. I'm here to share whatever works.
Well, I'm good. Now that I know, I think from a bandwidth standpoint right now, because my message apparently is not getting out to you as clearly as I thought, I'll let you run with it. I may pop in. Yeah, but for some reason, you're not coming through clearly to me. Everybody was fine before. Go figure. So yes, I'll mute myself. And Zora, you're doing great. So you guys can hang out together. It looks like you have no issue on your end in Hobart. So go figure. Sydney, not so great. Hobart, fantastic. So I'm gonna move to an island. All right.
So, move to an island where you get great reception.
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes
absolutely. So, well, I'll just keep going with my message. Yeah. No, go ahead.
I just muted myself because I'm delayed. So I'm just gonna make this thing worse if I talk. So I'm gonna be quiet for a bit and let you guys run with it. We'll hope that things ease in a little bit. This is really weird that our bandwidth got wacky all of a sudden.
Yeah. I'm sorry it did too. Oh my goodness. I just know that this powerful time in human history, love is needed more than anything. And I am just so elated that I am here to share this message. And what I know is that for the last 2,000 years, the Piscean age was really led by the head, the logic mind, the reasoning mind. And we're now in the age of Aquarius. I love your coach, really focus on the highest vibration that we can come from. And so the energy of love and above is really coming from heart-centered wisdom. So when we can start really participating, living from a place of recognizing that the wisdom of our heart, what is absolutely interconnected vibrationally with everything in the universe, and that as we stay connected to our highest self through a deeper relationship with our heart, we can continue. It's like I was raised Catholic. So, we prayed for people. Prayer is just sending out a positive vibration, and a prayer comes from your heart. So in this, age of Aquarius in 2021, we have to use the power and the wisdom of our heart for greater good, for humanity, for the planet, for what is absolutely needed right now. And so what I want to say is that most people the dissension, the challenges, the everything that's going on in the unrest and the political arena, focusing on fear, which is not love, which is expansion. So the more that we recognize difference and we start really strengthening the relationship that we have with our heart, with that wisdom center, with the place where we can really resonate from love and above, we get to make a difference in the world just by even tapping into it and starting our day with an open heart. So as I want to just share for a moment, the topic of my talk is called The Healing Power of Love. And there's so many ways that we can recognize healing is just to make things whole again. And it's also a way for us to look at areas that are not whole, that are not working, systematically or working for the greater good of all. And we have an opportunity to say, what area of our lives feel like they need some more love? They need that energy. They need us to come up from a place of our heart's wisdom. So our hearts have a frequency of the same. When we really connect with the relationship of our heart, it is the same frequency of what is going on with the creation of the world around us. So, when you get out of bed and you stub and you go, be a terrible day. Well, you are actually claiming that. So we want to be really mindful of the things that we focus on. We want to be mindful of the thoughts that we're thinking. We're then putting out into vibration that's then creating our day, creating our world, creating our relationships, creating our health and well-being, creating our business, the expansion of our businesses, the expansion of the good that we want to do on the planet. So I'm just going to take us through just a moment of just connecting to our heart. So if it feels right to close your eyes in this moment and put your hands on your heart and take a deep, beautiful, loving breath from the center, the core, the essence, the spark of the divine in the center of your heart. Take a deep breath together right in that place. And as we do, and we're holding this space, we're fueling that spark, and we're allowing the spark of that place of our own divinity to spread out throughout our entire bloodstream and our organs and our tendons and our muscles, and even allowing a smile to come on your face. And as you exhale, give forth that love. Like a gift of your own essence that you're sharing with anyone and anything around you in this moment. So I'm just going to in this moment, Ken, did you feel that? Yeah. And none of us,
I did.
None of us really. Oh, that's good. I just, because what happens is when we can really connect with our heart and really take that deep, beautiful breath of love in, first and foremost for ourselves, because it starts with you. And then as you exhale and give that forth, you're blessing everything around you, everyone around you. And there is no border when it comes to energy. There is no box that any of us live in. And we are all connected here on this Zoom call, on this Facebook, in this YouTube frequency right now. And we're literally sharing each other's energies. And when I'm doing this in person and not in a virtual space, I'll say, breath is so intimate that we're literally massaging each other's organs. So if you think about the intimacy of breathing, exhaling and inhaling, and opening up your heart to be of loving service to the other souls that you're sharing this journey with, it really truly is a loving journey and a loving way that we can feel intimate, feel connected, know that there is so much that we can do just by opening up our hearts and setting the intention to actually share that love and feel the wholeness, feel the healing power that we can actually send to others. So that's the first of the dynamic ways that I wanted to share today. And the second one is for us to recognize that love truly is the most powerful healing force in existence. And that was actually a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. And lifelong student, very, very active. I've read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books on the subject of love. It is truly my favorite subject. And so when we get to recognize what love is, and I love acronyms. So love for me is an opportunity for our vibration eternally. So when you are being love and you are sharing love and you are expressing love and you are experiencing love, you're literally raising the vibration of the planet. You're raising the vibration of humanity. When we can put our attention on the energy of love, which is expansion, and recognize that when we're in fear, anxiety, worry, doubt, we are in constriction and some phase of fear. So with our awareness of that, we can say, how can I put love into this moment? How can I breathe love into this experience? How can I lift my vibration eternally? There is no separate good. So as I'm lifting my vibration of love eternally, I'm lifting humanity's vibration of love eternally. So as we have this opportunity to really lift love for each other, for the planet, we are literally healing hearts and healing minds and healing souls and healing businesses and healing our opportunities to be of service and to give. And Zor, it's such an honor to be participating in this way of giving even more love for your incredible cause. And I also have a nonprofit, so I recognize that, the more that we give this generous energy of love that continues to ripple out and keep giving of itself, this is when we get to actually be our true nature. And the truth of the matter is, we are love in the flesh. We have, each one of us, been loved into existence by love itself, or God, or source, or creator, whatever label you want to put on it. But we have to realize that every act of love is us being our true nature. And that is truly how we heal with the power of love. And we will heal this planet. We'll heal ourselves from past sufferings, from past pain, from past abuses, from, all kinds. We can even pour love into those experiences so that we can stand even stronger and taller as love in this moment and then move forward from that place of love. that's how we're going to heal this world. And I know that, that I know you all stand for love, as I do. And I'm just so honored and grateful to be sharing this message today of love. And on Love Day, it's just such an honor and a pleasure. And so the third thing that I just want to share really quick is, as you're staying connected to the energy of love, continue to ask yourself, what is my heart's deepest desire? To be of loving service to humanity. What area of humanity can I be of greatest service that really sparks the divine of my heart, that wants to be of service, that wants to be generous, that wants to give, so that we can all live in a higher frequency and really live on earth, because I truly believe that it's possible. So Ken, back to you for now.
I love you. That sort of was redundant, I guess. But let me ask you, we have a few minutes, so we can play for a little bit, and Zor, you can pop in as well. Especially if my bandwidth is being wacky, because I felt like we were playing walkie-talkie delay earlier. I love it when that happens. So if we're going to take the essence of what we're discussing in terms of love and sharing that and apply it into a business scenario where you don't sound airy-fairy, where you have an audience that isn't necessarily on the same conscious wavelength as we are, because there's so many that are just into head and haven't, they've missed their connection. How do you add that piece into environments where people don't necessarily equate it, whether it's a scientific community where they're all quantitative versus essency. I thought maybe let's address that where folks don't yet have that connection and don't know how to play with it.
It's such a great question, Ken. And, as a spiritual life coach, I help conscious people build businesses every day. And so love is literally the energy of expansion. Fear is the energy of constriction. So quite simply, and I've done a lot of work with the Heart Math Institute, is scientifically proven that as you work with the energy of love, what would you love for your business to expand in? What area? Greater customer service, greater ability to build a better product, serve your clients on a greater level. All of those are where it is that you tapping into a greater, higher vision for your business to expand. It really isn't a lot. It's not really different from even where you want to expand, even in your personal life, deepening your relationships, having greater, more vibrant health. But it's really, how does that feel? Does it feel, because we have the greatest internal barometer built right in, it's called our nervous system. So if you're working on building or growing your company and you're saying, we want to expand in our, we could do this, we could get better at emailing, we could get better at, social media, we could build a bigger program. If it feels like it's aligned with your vision and it feels expansive and aligned with serving more of your customer base and then you're and you're moving in the right direction. When it feels constricting and it feels like, we're just like, not really feeling it. If it's not a really feeling it, that's a not it.
Yeah.
So
yes,
there's, and then you can quantitate.
Yeah. There's that old saying, and we're having delays, so it's just unfortunate, but unless it's a hell yes, it's a no. It's got to be that whole connection there. Yeah, exactly right. Tell me, we only have a few minutes left. Tell me, how do you work with clients? What do you bring to the equation for someone that wants to work with you?
It's a great question too. I have, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I have a website, janetgrace.love.
Oh, I love that.
And I also
Is
have
it
a free
dot
gift
love?
there too for all of your listeners today. Yes, janetgrace.love. Is that awesome?
That's
It's
fabulous.
brand new. We're just rebuilding my brand. It just fit so elegantly, and it was a hell yes.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a hell yes. So, but on my Facebook page, you can have a one-on-one call with me. I call my Purposeful Life Call, because if you're on purpose, you're living in the energy of love. So you can call, and I have a lot of programs, 90-day programs, year-long coaching programs, VIP days. I have a lot of sacred retreats all over the world. And when the world opens up again, we'll be doing more retreats and doing my sacred love journeys. So lots of different ways to stay connected to me. So thank you, Ken.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have the whole idea of a sacred love journey, easy for me to say, sacred love journeys. That's awesome. Right now, the only journey that we've been having is like here at the grocery store, because we're not going anywhere. But we are. Look at this. We're global right now. So we have Australia, we have the Philippines, we have the US, we have a lot of people coming in from Canada as well, and that's just here in this Zoom room, then on Facebook. So it's really miraculous that we're able to actually, the baby just came into the room. See, now I know now I know we're complete. I've had some people say to me, "Oh no, forgive the cat." I'm like, "What do you mean forgive the cat?" I love it when pets and children and and stuff come in the room, because it just allows you to connect with your heart. It's pretty exciting. So, Janet, I am thrilled to pieces to have you with us. And I wish we had more time, but I tell you, we've got a full plate. Hang out with us if you like, whether either here in our little broadcast area or in Facebook. And by the way, everything that all the goodies that Janet has available for us, they're on the dashboard. So you'll be able to access it that way as well. And VIPs, you'll get anything that she's got after the event's over as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I just want to encourage anyone who's feeling like they really want to connect more to their heart. My 7-day self-love journey, that is one of my free gifts, is 7 videos that are to help you really get in and deepen your relationship with your own heart, and deepen ways that you can bring more love into your life, that then of course ripples out into every area of your life.
Awesome. I'm so grateful to have you with us. Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible Janet Grace. Yay. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all. Happy Love Day. Happy Love Week. I know I'll be seeing you in this space again. Much love.
Back to you. I love it. Excellent. Okay, I hate to say goodbye to people that are so much fun, but what we've got coming up for you next is a fun treat, and I cannot wait to hear this gentleman, because he is a force of nature, and every time that we connect, I just leave just as if I've had rocket fuel, and I'll tell you, it's because the amazing Rich Kozak is rocket fuel for individuals to ensure their brand impacts people's lives and the world. He's the sage voice, listen to this, for impact-driven branding. With 44 years of experience, he's beat me by 5 in every aspect of branding. Rich is a rare individual who guides people in branding that brings them joy. His mid-career radical sabbatical, that's interesting, shaped his life, focused him specifically on what impact-driven brands are doing. And now he's soon to be a 5-time published author. His story is about love, clarity, and alignment on purpose. Rich says that it's about defining your life, not just your business. Ladies and gentlemen, the founder and CEO of Rich Brands and Impact-Driven Publishing, the incredible, chocolatey good, Rich Kozak. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, I am so blessed. Happy Valentine's Day. Good morning. Happy Sunday, and a lot of love.
It's so good to see you. I always love seeing you.
What an irony that a branding guy would talk about love. Like, what? Okay, we're going to get over that quickly. May I tell you a story?
Please tell us a story, Daddy.
Well, once upon a time, Kenny, I I ran a high-tech ad agency with partners in 21 countries. I was addicted to my job, but I didn't know that yet. I would come home late at night and wake my two boys up, and we'd say a quick prayer, and it would sound like this: Lord, thank you for teaching us that there are only two things that you want us to do. We're here for two reasons: to share love and to praise God, and everything else is man-made. Okay, honey, now go back to bed. Now, the irony that I was addicted to my job and never around, but I could do that prayer is like, well, okay, but fine. I'm over that now. That was a long time ago. But I quit branding when I turned 50, realized I was addicted to it. I quit. I don't do branding anymore. And I was brought back by people asking me for their help, but they were individuals. And I created a process based on the process we used to use with giant companies, $14 billion companies that wanted to move their brand from Germany to the United States, but the legalities were different. And so we helped them. You know, I was addicted. It was a buzz, an absolute buzz. But these days I work with individuals, and here's what landed on me. And I realized that the ability to do and see what we do is a gift. It's not a skill. I used to think it was a skill. There were heavy beat marks on my chest from doing, okay, you know, it's like it was about me, but it's not. When you have the gift to see what people can become, when you listen to what they talk about in their life, and you say, can I show you how that maps out? And they go, what? And by the time you're done, you have a picture you've held up a mirror to their heart and said, this is what I see in there. How close are we? And they go, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You actually get to help people not only build a strong platform for their business, but to step from that platform into their purpose. And that's what I do these days. So it is about love. You know, we learn. Anyway, so that was my story, my little story with the prayer. And I am a love guy. We just buried my mom, 100 years old in 5 months. And the legacy that we shared when we spoke at her recorded funeral 3,000 miles away, which I couldn't go to because I would have been in quarantine. It's like, it's crazy. But is that when I went through her house and found her Bible, which is red, by the way, so happy Valentine's Day. A lot of love in here. See, I could wear a red pocket handkerchief and do the same thing. Very worldly, very substantial. I'm just saying. I find prayer lists and I find underlines of asking God to bring clarity into her mind of what his will is in her life, and prayer lists of please help. She is from the South, from Southern United States. So she talks with a little accent. Please help my son, Richard, find a good woman and not spend too much time playing in those rock bands in those bars. That was like, you know, several decades ago. And so we realized we speak about the legacy that we leave. And sometimes legacy is a legacy of faith. It's a legacy of lessons learned. It's a legacy of mistakes made. It's a legacy of assets built. It's a legacy. There are layers of legacy. And one of my clients talks about that constantly. When it's time in someone's life to take it to a higher level, when they're ready, and it sounds like this, boy, I've done this for 20 years and I really want to take this to a higher level. Man, I've had this business for 35 years, but you know, we've been really successful, but I want to leave a legacy in the world. I want to share this with other people. I want to teach others so they can teach others. I want to train the trainers. I want to write and I want to speak, and people are ready to take it to another level. They think branding is the answer, but they're intimidated, frustrated, confused, misinformed by what branding really is. And I am going to reframe your idea of what it can be. The name of my presentation that I shared with you, or the theme of it, is When Work Becomes Love, Reshaping Your Life. When work becomes love. So what the heck does branding have to do with love? And what the heck does branding have to do with God's purpose that he puts in each one of us when he makes us? Because we all are here for a reason, unless there's nothing to this life. And like, you know, you can be one of those people, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time with you. But it's like, we're here for a reason. And we either get to step into that gift, step into that purpose or not. And when you have somebody who says, look, I had this job for 30 years and I'm over it. I'm going to do what I love, but I want to do it right. They think they need a brand, or they want to take it to another level because they've done it for so many years and they want to do it right. And they know branding is an answer, but they don't understand it. Or they've just created something like an expertise or a method or a product, and they know it'll touch people's lives and make the world a better place, but they're not a branding person. And they know all of those people are ready to take it to another level. Here's what can happen. This is what impact-driven branding is. You envision the brand, whatever you are, speaker, trainer, scientist, coach, whatever your business is, be it a manufacturer, it doesn't matter. I have clients of all types. You imagine that thriving. You think about it. What does it look like? What are you doing? Are you serving 200 clients in your backyard for the rest of your life? Or are you speaking through 200 languages all around the world? What are you doing when you thrive? Think about that. What's in your mind is in your life. So think about thriving. Now, answer the question. In your mind's eye, who are those people that you are absolutely clear? You can see it. You can clearly see them in your mind's eye that you know you can touch their lives. And you write those down. And don't tell me women feel better or, you know, men get over the fact that they're not their job. Okay, I want to hear a woman 40 to 50 years old with a special needs child with autism finds a way to make herself abundant and leave a legacy for the child when she's gone. That's a who and a what. That's an impact statement. Give me a who and a what. I don't need 20 of them, and don't make a list. Let them come from your heart. So you write them down. I have a client who added a light wire to safety vests, and he's going to change safety all over the world. That's the impacts we wrote for him are absolutely compelling. The way he changes individuals' lives and the world. So you write them down, who and what. Maybe you have 3, maybe you have 7, maybe you have 12, it doesn't matter. The moment you write those down and build clarity and specificity into those impact statements, here it is, wait for it. That brand can be defined to be the brand you must become to make those impacts. What characteristics must you become and get credit for? What expertises must you become and get credit for in priority order in order to make the impacts? Everything is impact driven. And when you do it that way, and when you do that work, everything the brand says and does aligns to the impacts. And you get to the impacts faster, and you get to this faster. And you might even discover the purpose of business is not this anymore. It's impact. What if everyone realized, everyone who is ready, because not everyone is ready. Not everyone is ready for impact-driven branding. They haven't gone through their life. They are not at the point in their journey. But when they're ready, what if everyone realized and shifted the purpose of business to impact instead of this? And you'd get there faster anyway. What a world would it be? And so the aha moment for me was realizing this is God's work. God put those desire for impacts in our hearts. Our mind's eye says, oh, I know I can help these people. Okay, so we get on with it. Now you might write down 7 impacts and you will absolutely reach those. You are going to reach a whole bunch more. Just because you only write down 3 or 12 doesn't mean you're not going to make any other ones. But you are certainly going to race to those. And everything the brand says and does aligns and sends you there. What a God blessing. No confusion, no misinterpretation, no waiting, no wasting money on marketing, because everything's aligned. People jump into marketing and and don't define who they are and really language their brand. And when that's done absolutely thoroughly, it is clarifying first and then aligning. So achieving clarity and envisioning the impacts you make on the world is such a gift. And the process that I'm doing every day with people, it's based on branding knowledge and branding expertise and branding process, but it's not about, see, your work is not why you're here. It's just a vehicle, but branding will help build a wonderful platform for that work and make it abundant so that you can step from that platform into your purpose. So when a client says, well, I'm not writing any books, and we define 3 books for them, and then they write their first book, or we have it written with them for them, and they start to get credit for their expertise, and then move into and cross the bridge into where they're going, and then get into their purpose, their life becomes more significant. Branding? It's like people don't think of branding as that, but that's what we do all day long. What a blessing. So imagine thriving. Focus on those individuals or groups that you clearly see impacting, and then create compelling, consistent language that transfers energy, so the words you speak transfer energy, shape your impacts, and attract exactly what you want to attract to make your impacts. It's a guarantee because it's the way it's defined. It's going to work because everything is impact driven. What a cool thing, huh? So, and it's all about love. It's all about love. That's the foundation of it. And it's also who's doing it. It's like one of the things I stand for. People call me a heart connector. It's a branding guy. It's okay, but hey. I mean, I used to, on my desired brand triangle, I used to have the word connecting as a characteristic. And so many people said, you're connected with my heart. I changed it to say heart connecting, because that's what people tell me it is, and it's part of the process. Phenomenal. And Ken, I think that's why you and I, we listen to each other talk. Man, there's something about him I really like.
Yeah, it's true.
We have this kind of mutual admiration society.
The dynamics that we have it's fun that way. And we're almost at the point where we could like finish each other's sentences, although we don't even know each other that well, but it really is. It's awesome. But isn't it energy? We do just attract each other's energy, and that's wonderful. It really is. It's special. It really is special. So I appreciate you and what you do. And I'm going to shut up and let you keep going because you're on a roll.
Well, words are energy. I mean, let's not kid around. If you said to me, Rich, you're a branding consultant. Oh, dear, another one, like wah, wah, because everybody uses the word, right? Everybody uses the word branding. So it gets a bad rap because there's a lot of really bad branding out there. But so they say, okay, well, wow, what do you do? And if I say, well, words have energy. So if I say, well, I manage the 31 iterative steps of the branding continuum, first of all, you'll be asleep. But if I say, when it comes down to it, I put rocket fuel in your branding gas tank, just the words alone have a different energy. And so what if the words that you use to describe the brand to get credit were all congruent with your heart? Yeah. Okay. And seriously, people don't think about that. We need a brand. They think a logo, oh yeah. Well, I could talk for a week about logos. You want the 5 acid test? Says what it does. Easy to say, easy to spell, easy to remember, has legs. I could talk for a week. You ready? Let's go. I've been there. You want to talk about trademark? Want to talk about, trade dress? I know things that people couldn't even forget because they don't know, because I've been doing this for so long. But that's not the point. The point is, you think branding is about business and money. What if it's about impact and building a platform with your vehicle that you've been given as a gift so that you can step into your purpose and be even more abundant and create layers of legacy that you can pass on to the world and to your family and to others. It's like, branding? Yeah. Welcome to my world. What a blessing. And so, how do people get a feeling for that? Ken, do you mind if I mention the free website with the little 1, 2, 3 minute branding question videos?
Love it. And okay, by the way,
so
and let me also mention that those links are also going to be in the resource area on our dashboard. So if you go to worldloveweek.com/dashboard, we'll have it. We have it there as well. Or if it's not there the second, it will be. So so we have it there for you also.
Well, I'm going to do a little bit of a surprise. What's on that list is
surprises.
It's a kind of a Valentine's Day bonus. little ready.
Could you do that? Could you do that again? Yeah, do that again. That was nice. Yeah. Okay.
So sorry, old school, thebrandyoubillbecome.com. Thebrandyoubillbecome.com.
I love that.
I mean, the whole brand. Okay, but not just the business brand, the whole brand, like why you're here. Got it? Okay. Thebrandyoubillbecome.com. That gives you access to, I think there are 8 little 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, total 18 minutes videos answering really common branding questions with straight talk. Yes, it is I. My mother was an English teacher. It's a predicate nominative. It is I answering them with no airy fairy language like Ken was talking about. There's no essence talk. Okay, there's just straight answers about branding questions. Including the last one that says, why does Rich Brands only want to work with people determined to make an impact on others' lives in the world? So that's free. Go get them. And to get them, I'll get your email. And then anyone who just signs up for those and gets that, I'll get an email. I am going to send you a second gift. And it is a free ticket to a half-day event that I'm doing on the 27th of February called Branding You with Impact. And it is a charged event, but I will gift it to you. It's middle of the day if you're on the West Coast, Pacific time, it's 11 to 2:33, something like that. East Coast, it would be 8 to 12. Of the United States, sorry, because I know we've got people all over the world. So for the first time in your life, you come to that, you will hear and see and feel branding as a process that makes you more significant and enables you to step from your well-branded business platform into your purpose with ease. You'll see what it is, how it works, when you'll see how work becomes love and when branding becomes God's work. And I would love to get that to you. So www.thebrandyoubillbecome, sign up. When I get your email, I will send you the gift of the free ticket for that event.
That's awesome. And for those of you that watch this on a recording in a year or 6 months or whatever, sorry.
I'll come up with something else.
Timing is of the essence.
But you'll start with the videos and you'll watch those and you'll either go, I love this guy's straight talk, or you'll go, I want some essence. Where's the essence? And you're not my guy. It's okay. It's okay. Maybe you're not ready.
The whole piece.
If you're on this event, you're probably ready. So it's like, let's not get around.
That's true. Here's the thing. I like to be pragmatic about what we do. And I teach that way when I do my Pride event, for example, which I know you've been at.
Great event.
I thank you. It's great because of the people that show up, and the brand that comes with it is also the brand of transparency. So my whole perspective and why I'm so happy to have you here is that when we talk about branding, we talk about making an impact, and we talk about just doing business per se, when you come from truth and you come from your real purpose for hopefully serving your community, and I'm just not talking about your customers, which should be fundamental. It's serving your collaborators, serving your joint venture partners, serving your suppliers, serving even the Uber driver. The people that you're in contact with. If you don't,
just a choice.
Is recognizing that you can't do what you do without everybody in that entire food chain, that entire supply chain, if you will. And that's critical. I mean, if you don't win-win the scenario, and you want to negotiate your best terms and your best deal and everything, but when you do it with integrity, and if you goof, we've had a lot of with this event, for example, we've had all sorts of fun technical challenges, opportunities to learn where things haven't worked, and we've had to pivot in a lot of ways over this past few days. But when you do it with the accountability that goes with it, people love that. Because
so I did want to make sure, I know we have a very little time, so I want to say where I'm going with this instead of starting a story. Here's where I'm going. It's going to end with saying the world seems to work against us until clarity comes.
Great.
And then things begin aligning because we make them align. So that's where I'm going. And I worked with Lisa Nichols with Motivating the Teen Spirit. Lisa's from the movie The Secret, and I worked with her for 3.5 years. What a God blessing she is to the universe. And she used to do, she taught emotional healthiness skills to teenagers and talk about things like negative self-talk and the way, you were born perfect, but then things happen and you start, hearing things, oh, you're not that good. Oh, let your sister do it. Oh, you suck at this. You'll never amount to whatever. Right. And you start loading stuff and then you start believing it. And then so you go get a good job. So you're going to prove that you can just get this job. And then you get addicted to your job. Guilty. And then you realize your job's not why you're here. And the moment you choose, you know what, I'm going to reshape my life. Like I resigned a career to reshape my life. That's pretty rare. And I was able to do it. So thank goodness. But most people can't. But when that clarity comes and you have something to give, and now everything is based on what I see when I thrive at that, and everything lines up and the language aligns, because what comes out of our mouth creates the world. And so when the language aligns, and language is extremely important, the language of a brand that's consistent, and then it transfers energy. When all that aligns, the world aligns. And so really it feels like the world's working against us until clarity comes. What a blessing that all of us get to help others step into clarity.
Yeah, that's for sure.
With all the one woman who was on here before, with their heart and with their energy, with what their brand is, but they think it's just a business and it's going to go beyond that. It's like, it's going to be hard to get rid of me. Just be forewarned. But literally I had a woman write me yesterday, a client, she goes, "You're stuck with me." I'm like, praise God. I'm like, okay. All right, go.
I was going to jump in and ask, you've been talking about question of clarity and the impact-driven statement. It's quite interesting actually, but I feel like I've seen you at the Pride event, and I've been there as well. And what I've noticed, including myself, is the fact that when we are trying to message our branding, that messaging part, sometimes we are lost in the clarity. And so my question was around, how do you help your client and to navigate to get that clarity toward their messaging and around their whole brand?
It's an excellent question, and I'll give you a simple answer, but I could talk for a year, but I'll give you a simple answer. There are 7 steps to impact-driven branding. And I'm preparing a landing page to offer an impact-driven branding blueprint on some advertising that we're doing, which says, here are the 7 steps, get started. So there's steps, there's just steps. One is imagine your brand thriving, writing down the who's and what's of the impacts, and then asking yourself, well, in order to make that impact, what must the brand become? Must it be technology centric? Must it be loving? Must it be, aggressive? Must it be strategic? It's like you ask yourself, and the process extracts what's necessary to make those impacts. It just lines up because of the process. And so it's not difficult. It's rigorous. It's not difficult. And so how I help is I facilitate the process. listen deeply with, I'm a certified trainer of neurolinguistics programming. So I listen with those ears. If they say this is a problem, I usually say, I think to myself, well, that's the presenting problem. Let's get to the real problem. But so I facilitate it. I even do it in groups and then we'll break out and people will help each other speed through the process. It becomes something that you can do. So I'm writing a book, which I can't hold up. It's called Impact Driven Branding, 7 Steps to Ensure Your Brand Impacts People's Lives and the World. It's steps. And there's a workbook. It's like, so the event that I'm going to give people to is kind of the what and why. The how event is a workshop in March on the 18th. That's like, well, we take one impact statement and you're working the whole way through the process and you look down and you go, wow, it's a process. Like I totally get it and I'm doing it. Yeah. Do you need a branding guru? No. Hallelujah. I mean, what, so everybody thinks they need a branding go, hey, that's why I'm writing the book. So it's easier than people would think. And it's just a process.
Thank you. That answered my question pretty well. I'm pretty sure that book, when it come out, it will be a hit because with like you said, clarifying that message is very important. And if there's a step to guide you through that, then
if somebody sends me their email to rich@richbrands.org, just sends me an email, put me on the list for the book. rich@richbrands.org, and that includes you, rich@richbrands.org. Just say, put me on the list for the book. Believe me, you'll get an invitation. It should publish, I'm thinking April. It's mid-April.
Okay. Well, awesome. Are you guys there? Okay. I think we went to silence for a second. We are at like, it's time to say goodbye. I feel like singing the time to, but we're not going to do that because I'm not a singer. Rich, I'm thrilled to have had you with us for this segment here. I know you're going to be back as one of our segment hosts over the next few days.
Oh, I'd love that. That would be really great.
I will coordinate that with you. I couldn't get you on today because we needed to make sure we dialed it in ourselves so we knew it was going to work and not going to work. So I want to thank you very much for being with us, and you and I'll be in touch to get those details.
And I'm here to support what you're doing. I love what you're doing, and thank you too. Thank you both of you for hosting this and creating World Love Week. God bless you.
And to you too. Hang out with us if you like, or hang out in the Facebook group, whatever. I'm going to bring Madeline on in a second here because she is amazing. Go ahead. I see your fingers. Go ahead.
And remember, now is the time to define the brand you will become.
Amen, brother. Thank you. Good work. Awesome. Thrilled to have you. We're gonna bring on. I love this man. He's awesome. And look also at his backdrop as to how he's very cleanly and clearly indicated who he is. I love it. Always have. It's great. And because it makes a statement without having to make the statement, which I love a lot. So yay. Okay, we're gonna head not to Brookline, Massachusetts, but we're gonna head now to the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Is that where we are, Madeline, today?
Yeah.
Awesome.
0 degrees centigrade, freezing.
What is it? Is it 0 degrees centigrade?
Yeah, which means it's 32 degrees.
That
which
is true.
has been warm. It is warm, actually, compared to what it has been.
Well, it's cold for me, given that I'm in Sydney and it's summertime, but although it is cool. But let me do the intro for you so everyone knows who you are, and then we can kind of dive in a little bit. Because I've known Madeline now for, I don't know, quite a few months, it feels like. She's a psychologist with years of experience working with teens from inner city schools and outlying rural areas, as well as white suburban areas. In all these settings, I've never heard it quite called that. In all these settings, her clients showed the same basic needs, listen carefully, for honest communication and respect for their autonomy. She's now written 2 books that address them directly, since they are the experts on themselves. Her book, I Want to Be Me, But I Don't Know Who I Am. I love that title. It sounds just like the story of my life. And her soon to be published, I Want to Be Me workbook, Madeline coaches her readers to greater awareness, autonomy, independence, and resilience. And I got to tell you, from what I've discovered about teens these days, that is so critical because the teen suicide rate is up 8.7 times what it was in the past. So a woman that is basically here to save lives, the incredible, amazing Madeline Boscovitz. Yay.
Thank you, Ken. Oh, God. I don't know if I can live up to this introduction. And Joe,
well, hell, you wrote it, so for God's sakes, you better.
And Joe, I am thrilled to be meeting you, not quite in person, but.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to meet you. Yeah.
So this is and I want to, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just replying to your comment. I think there's a little bit of delay. No, yeah, it's awesome to meet you. I can't wait to hear what you get to talk about. I mean, the title of the book is already has caught my eye. So yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. So this is very exciting. Thank you, Ken, for this opportunity to talk. Mr. Quell.
Oh, no,
to an
no.
international audience. And while my experience is entirely American, and I'm addressing American children and teens and young adults, I think human development is pretty much the same despite cultural differences. And I want to start by apologizing because I am actually going to be using the script and I'm going to do what our previous speaker said not to do, and but I still be on camera for you.
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me make you a co-host so that you can share your screen. And
did you want me to do that? I was just going to be looking at the camera and.
Whichever you want. I thought I was multitasking, so for some reason I thought you wanted to share your screen. So no, go ahead.
No, I think it might be better this way. So.
Okay.
I'm going to do exactly what he said not to do, but I'm a psychologist and a teacher, and it's hard to get away from that model. So the title of my talk today is not I Want to Be Me, but I don't know who I am, though that's coming up soon. But it is the 5 essential skills that schools do not teach. So let me start by saying that is not a criticism, it is a comment, and it needs to be understood what the issue is. So historically, children were expected to have the emotional and social development when they reached school age, and so that they could function in the classroom. And I think by and large, it was happening certainly in America. But for some reasons, or many reasons, it's not happening for many children and teens nowadays. So schools have tried to adjust. Elementary schools now, some of them are offering children some quiet space to engage in mindfulness meditation, to be in touch with their own feelings and to calm down. And I think that's a plus. In high schools, though, teens are really assumed to be ready to learn the material. There is a hurry to get it done. And any teen that shows a lack of ability to do that, a lack of presence, is often excluded, punished, isolated, and often shamed, unfortunately. So let's reflect on that this is the week of love, and let's send love to the schools and the dedicated staff that work so hard to teach our children. And let's not forget the teens that we live with or work with every day. They are certainly in need of love, the difficult ones in particular. So let's give them the skills also to love themselves. And this is what my book is about, and why I address them directly, is that it's important for them to get the wherewithal to be persons that they love. So I'm in the process of creating an educational program where I have the guidebook and the workbook that will be published this spring. And I am working actually on a web course to teach the book in the classroom, hopefully as part of a curriculum in health education. So let's just look at what we expect of our children between the age of 10 and 20. I've stretched it a little bit just to cover a whole decade. And because it's a decade of incredible transformation as they grow from dependent children to independent adults able to function in the world as an adult. And this is an enormous challenge for them, and many, many teens are very much challenged. And yet, so it is really not fair that they get a bad rap. So let's look at the 5 essential skills that teens need to learn, to practice, and to mature in order to have a successful life. And I want to point out that we start practicing those skills in adolescence, but it often takes a lifetime to accomplish them. So wait and see what I'm talking about. So the first one is self-awareness, which also promotes good overall self-care, and I will go into detail later. The second one is the challenging emotional regulation, acceptance and management of our feelings, not denying them or repressing them, but accepting and managing. The third one, effective behavior management, the one that so many of us have so much trouble with, and I will go into some detail as to why. Then good pro-social skills are needed to enable us to have a productive and pleasant life and to be able to love, as our previous speaker talked about. When we love ourselves, we're able to love. Finally, the ability to make insightful decisions, considering consequences and potential outcomes. So all of this, of course, is covered in my books, and I will go into a little more detail, or a lot more detail. So how do we promote this good self-awareness that fosters self-care, autonomy, which means taking charge of ourselves, responsibility, independence, pro-social behavior, and solid decision-making? Is that all we're expecting of these poor adolescents? Well, it is, as much as possible. So as we make them more aware of themselves on the inside and the outside, they learn to focus on their traits and behaviors, to see who they are and how they present to others. They also uncover their strengths and weaknesses, and ultimately realize that they can choose the identity that they want to project in the world. They can choose to improve on their qualities and to manage their behaviors. So this is extremely empowering, and it empowers them ultimately to acknowledge their dreams, which they have often been hiding from themselves, as they don't quite believe in themselves. So this awareness also encourages them to trust their own gut feelings, their inner voice, helps them to acknowledge what they need, and then engage them in becoming what I call their own good parent, because this is all our job, is to learn to leave our parents' authority and establish our own direction as we go into the teen years and become, therefore, our own good parent, because we want actually a kind parent, and one that will foster healthy, what we call self-talk, how we talk to ourselves. Again, the previous speaker mentioned how we need to talk to ourselves kindly, and so they learn to reject the negative comments that they often hear. Oh, you will never amount to anything, and you just can't do it, and you're expecting too much, and who do you think you are? All of these, they become aware that these are not necessary, and they don't have to espouse them. So as they recognize when they're being treated well or not, and this is essential for getting along in the world, to know how to be treated. So I'm going to use here an example that was created with a client, not a teen client, but an adult client who was a new high school teacher and who had a very, very difficult class in which she could not get the teens to settle down or to do any work or to even pay any attention to what she was doing. And she was very distressed. So I gave her a copy of my book. I'm not allowed to sell it to patients, so I give it to them. So what did she do? She had the genius idea, after reading my book and understanding some of the teens' needs, she had the genius idea of inviting them every single class to take the first 5 minutes and write down privately what is on their mind, what they would like for themselves, where they're at, and whatever else they wanted to write. And when they were done with those 5 minutes, they were on task. They were able to participate in the class and to listen. And the question is why? Why did this help? Or how did it help? So she offered them respect. She acknowledged their status as being anxious and agitated and angry. She acknowledged their need for some way to become able to listen and study. So she helped them become more aware of themselves, take stock of themselves and their status, and center themselves. It can be as simple as that in the classroom. So let's get on to the next piece, which is emotional regulation. That's what we call it. That's the jargon. And it's helping teens recognize and accept their emotions without judging themselves. Emotions are healthy responses to what we experience. There is nothing wrong with them. And we don't control them. We cannot control them, even though every client comes into therapy says, I want to learn to control my emotions. And I say, well, no, you can't control emotions. You can control your behavior. And that's a difference. And that will be the next piece. But right now, we're helping teens learn how to manage and regulate strong emotions so as to be able to choose their behavior. So I need actually to move back in time to a much earlier period of development because emotional regulation really starts during the terrible twos. That's what we call them in America when the little child becomes a little bit autonomous and wants to have his way and comes upon frustrations. And we're not used to them opposing us, and that's why we call them the terrible twos. But it is a very exciting time for the child. And what does he do when he has to struggle with a frustration? Very often, he, for lack of any ability to do anything else, he throws a temper tantrum. He feels the emotion in his body and sort of loses control of his body in struggling with the frustration, and we call that a temper tantrum. The best way to help the child who throws a temper tantrum is to let him or her recover by themselves, not interfere with it, not shame, not punish, not yell, not prevent. So as the child recovers, he engages often in what we call self-soothing, taking care of his hurt. He might go and grab a blankie. She might be sucking her thumb and picking up her teddy bear, whatever it is. They find a way to take care of themselves as long as you don't remove that frustration. It's very important. So punishment teaches the child to disregard feelings, and giving into the tantrum is the worst thing you can do because it teaches the child that manipulation is the way to get things done. And it's just not right. And I have to say that in my practice, now I'm retired now, by the way, Ken. But in my practice, I often saw older children who were still allowed to throw temper tantrums at 10 years of age, 11 years of age. So I had a young boy who was 11 and who actually threw a temper tantrum in Walmart. And his mother was very angry with him as she brought him into the session. And we talked about it, and I first clearly set limits that, it's been okay until now to have a temper tantrum when you're frustrated, but, after next Monday, that's no longer acceptable. So you're just at the limit now. You can still do till Monday, but not after next Monday. So, and when you're frustrated, what do? You take care of yourself. Do you go read a book, listen to music, dance, punch a ball? What do you do? Whatever it is, that's good. And what if you wanted that poster so badly? How could you go about getting it? What could you do? Let's use that anger for you to figure out what you could do. So we talked that maybe he could offer to do some work to earn the money. Maybe he could go talk to neighbors and help them out to earn money. Whatever it was, he could then come up with the money and autonomy, because he would then be on his own to purchase that poster, in the sense that it would have been his own doing, his own autonomy, rather than depending on his mother. So let's move on to the really tough one, and that's the middle one of the 5 pieces, and that's behavior management. So this is about helping teens to use the energy from their emotion, exactly, to choose to resist an impulsive reaction, like throwing a temper tantrum, in favor of choosing a response that takes into account their goals, small and large, considers their needs and the path they really want to take. So this boy really wanted that poster, but he didn't have any resources on how to get it besides throwing a temper tantrum. So it was, of course, high time for him to learn that he did indeed have resources and that he could take advantage of them. So it's also important to acknowledge that for all of us, this is the biggest challenge, but also the biggest boon when we master it. But it takes a lifetime. People who are successful are those who keep their cool and choose their behavior. Think about our current vice president, who was described as unflappable, a great compliment to her when she was a senator. So how do you do that? How do you get that across? Of course, in my books, there are all kinds of exercises that train the teens to learn those skills, but I'm just going to use the old days example. Long before computers and other modern items, we were told to count to 10. Why? Well, take a moment to regroup. It's still the best advice that allows a person to listen to their gut and consider choices and personal goals. And here's an example here, which seems to have disappeared. No, it's right here.
I forgot about counting to 10.
Sorry.
I totally forgot about counting to 10. And in fact, I was told, I have a friend of mine who I've been working with for years as a coach, and I had to make an agreement that I wouldn't do anything impulsive business-wise, not till I counted to 10, but for 5 days. And I had a 5-day cooling off period. And if the idea was still good after 5 days, we would do it. And I haven't exactly followed that, but it's a really good idea.
5 days is good. I had a 3-day example that I may go in if we have more time later, where I took 3 days to cool off and then get the situation right.
Well, it's funny you're bringing me back to a memory when I was in my first relationship, way back when I was 23 years old, I think it was. And I said, so here's the deal. It's going to be like a rental agreement. You have to give 30 days notice. And so we have a fight, because at that time, everyone was breaking up, have a fight, break up, have a fight, break up. And I was like, I don't want that. I want something stable. So I said, okay, so here's the deal. We have a fight. You want out, you give me 30 days notice. And so every now and then we would give each other 30 days notice. And of course, the next morning it was like we retracted it. But at least we had that ability that, okay, we were able to say it and then get through it. So you make a really good point about that cooling off period.
So that is a wonderful example. And if I may use it sometime in the future.
You can even do it with that attribution. It's fine.
Oh, well, no. Okay, thank you. But I would certainly refer to you as my teacher. So I'm going to use an example here of a young man that I named Jason, and who appears in the book as an example. And I was going to read it, but time is of the essence, and so I'm not going to read it. But it was going to give you an example of the way I write, very down to earth and directly with the youth, because these books are addressed to them directly.
Nice.
And
We have about 6 minutes if that, or 6 or 7 minutes. So if that works for you, then feel free.
I thought I had about 8 minutes.
You do, but I was just trying to pad it.
Thank you. So Jason, this was in a shelter for teenagers who had either run away from home or been brought in by their parents, and they were all under the ages of the Children's Protective Services, where I was volunteering as a counselor. And so Jason was 17 years old, and he came in very angry and agitated, and I invited him, not told him, not asked him, but invited him to sit down with me and maybe be able to let me know what was going on. His girlfriend was so I found out his girlfriend was in the hospital, but they wouldn't let him talk to her. He had called twice, and they said no, that was impossible, and he had been so furious that he slammed the phone down and was crying, and he didn't know how to deal with it. And so I let him, take his time to settle down and narrate it. And I said, well, maybe there is a way that you still could get to talk to her, since you clearly care so much about her. And how could you go about it instead of being kind of rude and informal? Maybe you could sound, more quiet, use a quiet voice and introduce yourself and make the request using your full name and sound, almost like an adult. I didn't say that, of course, but maybe that would really help. So he actually sat with me, a total stranger, and was willing to talk to me about this and then rehearse it with me. We did phone call, and in the days when we put our phone to the ear. Anyway, and he went and called on one of the available phones, and in the shelter, and succeeded. First time around, he succeeded. So we talked about the value of the energy from the anger, and also, and not with him, but with the readers, I talk about the value of anger. So emotions give us a lot of energy, but we can use it to make good choices. We can use it to reach our goals rather than just express our frustration. And this is something that a school counselor could certainly engage a distressed student as well, and I suspect that they do. So the next important thing are the pro-social, what I call pro-social skills, and this sort of come automatically as teens become more self-aware and empowered to be taking charge of themselves. They learn to respect themselves and others, to provide and demand sincere connection, to demand respect, avoid manipulation or intimidation, peer pressure, or even bullying. And at the same time, they learn to refrain from doing the same. So they learn to attend to their own needs, to stay on track, and avoid being distracted from the goal. So this is what Jason was learning, to practice those skills, to keep the goal in mind and to work on the skills necessary to achieve that goal, to being polite and patient. And optimally, eventually to treat himself with respect, because he was entitled to talk to his girlfriend. He just needed to believe that he was. So the last piece of the 5 pieces is insightful decision making. And now, some of you may be laughing, and it takes forever for all of us to learn how to make sound decisions that use critical thinking and self-knowledge. In the book, I actually use, believe it or not, what I call yes-no decision trees, where you have a decision to make, you have a yes path and you have a no path. And if all works out, the yes path leads to yes, I can do it. But everywhere you get a choice to yes or no. And it looks like a tree. I use it horizontally with big labels. And I think it works. I also have demonstrate one for a decision I had to make, which I also put on YouTube as a verbal demonstration. So these are the 5 skills that promote self-confidence, allows teens to believe in themselves and their dreams, feel empowered to pursue them, and become resilient in the face of obstacles and challenges. So I am going to show you the book. I'm coming back here. I am going to show you not only the title. By the way, this is what one of my young patients said. I want to be me, but I don't know who I am. And she gave me permission to use the title. I think she forgot.
Her eyes are amazing. Her eyes are amazing. Wow.
So this is not the student, of course. This is a stock photo. My artist is my son, Mark Sawaya. He gets credit at the end of the book and on the back cover. And so that's a guidebook, which is already out on Amazon. This is a prototype of the workbook, where the same girl is in the middle, but now she's got a whole bunch of friends that she's working with. And it's I Want to Be Me workbook. And to give you guys a taste of what this is like, what the books are like, my free gift to you is an I Want to Be Me introduction to the guidebook. And let's see if I can show that, to the guidebook and workbook. It's free if you go to my website, well, not my website, the book's website. And it's got about 80 pages. It has a lot of the instruments, introductory material. It's got the code to get more instruments online, to have access to more instruments online. And it has a sample chapter from each book, so you can see how I go about doing this teaching. And it has very detailed tables of contents so that you can see just what I cover very methodically. Is it okay, Ken, if I give the website?
Well, what we can, but I'll make it easy for everybody. We should have a link on the dashboard so people can just go right to our World Love Week dashboard. They can download it immediately. Because typically you can feel free and deliver it now if you like, but just so all of you know, the link for that will be on the dashboard, so you don't have to worry about it. Go ahead.
Yes, I saw it actually. It looked very good. So if you look at what I put after my name, I put I Want to Be Me. So it's I Want to Be Me without an exclamation point. I Want to Be Me .org.
Oh, cool. That's a great name.
It's an easy one.
It is an easy one. Yeah,
go and you sign for my email list and you get the free book.
Fantastic.
It's a download that you can get immediately.
Fantastic.
And it will be there either forever or until like my previous speaker said, either forever or until the next gift comes along.
There you go. Exactly. Beautiful. Madeline, I am so honored to have you with us today. You are a gem, and we've got to land this plane right this minute because the next broadcast is starting like right now.
Okay.
I love you to pieces. Take care. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy World Love Week.